Get the adoption papers because this dunk right here officially grants Zion Williamson the parental rights over Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and the whole Suns organization. Man, look at Devonte Graham's face. He knew right there something bad was about to happen. But Zion just doesn't care anymore. I mean, every game Zion is calling somebody too small. Take a look at this clip. Here, CJ steals the ball from CP3. He starts the break, finds Zion. Zion goes all the way and then calls a 6'11" guy too small. And this is not even surprising anymore. He's been bulldozing grown men out there on the regular basis. I think by this time, everybody knows that when Zion plays, there's always someone who will get dropped and flexed on. Here in this clip against the Suns, with a minute and a half left, Zion is guarded by Bruce Brown. Zion makes his move, bumps the living you-know-what out of Brown, and free bucket. Now, this game was a resounding victory for the Pels as they beat the Suns for the second time this season, and the Pelicans have rocked the NBA. Well, they may be the top seed in the West at the time of this video, but can they maintain it? What if Brandon Ingram returns and suddenly they become a bad team? Just kidding. The real question is, if they're able to maintain their first seed, can they win in the playoffs? Because in the playoffs, there's no more room for errors. And as of now, their offense is great. It's been precise. But in terms of defense, we're still seeing a lot of defensive errors from the Pelicans. So today, we will break down all of their defensive errors against the Suns. Let's start with this clip. So here, Bridges is about to give a CP3 a screen. Now, watch Zion as the screen was set. He wasn't leveled to the screener, so he wasn't ready to guard. Look at this space you're giving the point guard right there. That's an easy bucket right there. Here in this play, it's CP3 again. He's about to get a screen from Ayton here. Now, as you can see, Dyson Daniels should have gone around DeAndre Ayton before the screen was set, rather than staying behind him all the time. Now, this leaves CP3 a lot of space to hit that bucket. Here it's CP3 dribbling the ball up the court again. Look at CJ here. He's so far behind CP3. He kept backpedaling. Given the amount of space he had, that's easy for CP3 to make that three in that situation. Here in this clip, as Payne passes the ball, look at Najee Marshall's stance. His feet aren't leveled, and if you're going to guard Booker, you cannot open up your hip. You cannot give Devin Booker the angle to either attack left or pull up. But what Najee did is he never set his feet, and he kept on going back. That leaves Booker enough space to hit that three ball. In another clip here, Payne makes a drive through the basket. Take a look at all the Pelican players. I mean, is Payne that good for all the 5 guys of the Pelicans to be in the paint? Nobody is guarding the perimeter. Now this leaves Landale for an open 3. Here in this clip, if you're Jose Alvarado, you can't stop leaning towards the screen being set on this angle, because look what happens. DeAndre Ayton flips the angle of the screen. So now it's a 2-on-1 and Alvarado cannot catch up. That leaves Ayton for an easy dunk. In another clip here, watch how Zion guards Chris Paul. If you're Zion, you need to close off your hip and get your feet level with each other in order to prevent Chris Paul from taking the angle. However, in this instance, Paul managed to take the angle, subsequently leading to an easy drive and bounce pass to Ayton. Here in this clip, Booker is guarded by Trey Murphy III. At first, you can see Trey is doing a good job, but stop here. From the moment that Booker bumped, that small space right there has to get closed off now. Plus, you can see Booker already picked up his dribble, so that the only thing left to do is contest. But Murphy didn't close the space off, so now Booker got the jumper off. Now here in this clip, Devin Booker gets the ball from CP3. Booker drives inside, but Dyson catches up quickly. Now pause here. As you can see, again, Booker already picked his dribble up, and obviously there's nothing left to do but to either force to shoot or pass. But look at Trey Murphy at the corner. He's still looking at Booker. Damian Lee is so open right there. So when Booker made the pass, Lee had plenty of space to hit the wide open 3. Right here, CP3 holds the ball, and this time, look at Valanciunas in drop coverage. All he has to do is cut off the corner here from Chris Paul. Because if Chris Paul is able to turn the corner, the defense will collapse. And that's what happened. The defense collapsed. So here, this is what happens when you don't get back quickly in transition. Look at Valanciunas again. Valanciunas needs to hurry over to Booker so that CJ can guard Damian Lee. However, he was too slow to get back on defense, and CJ was forced to guard Booker, who was open, thus leaving Damian Lee also wide open for another corner three. Here in this clip, lack of communication is shown by the second unit of the Pelicans. As you can see, Graham gets caught off the screen. But why are you still looking at Chris Paul? Anyway, here's what they should have done here. So Damian Lee is about to go outside the arc. Larry Nance has to communicate with Graham and say, "I'll take Landale and you take Lee." However, Graham was lost, and that leaves another wide open three for Lee. Now here in this clip, CP3 calls for a pick. Watch how Alvarado wraps his arm around Landale's screen. You cannot move around the screen while holding yourself back. Now you're left behind. The defense collapses, and this leaves another wide open three for Damian Lee. Jeez, how many open threes did Damian Lee have in this game? Here's another transition defense error from Valanciunas. As CP3 pushes the pace, Landale makes the cut. Larry Nance has to check Landale and Jonas has to cover CP3. But what happens is two people go to Landale and CP3 is open for the three. This pretty much sums up what you don't see on the stat sheets. Yes, according to the stats, the Pelicans are second in the league and in terms of steals per game, and they are also third in the league in terms of defensive rating. No one can deny that their defense is good. But again, when it comes to playoff basketball, there's just no more room for errors. The stakes are higher, and the margin for error is much smaller. The Pelicans will need to avoid errors like what we've shown in order for them to make a run and be successful in the playoffs. Because in the playoffs, man, every possession matters, and one mistake can lead to the difference between winning and losing. But for now, let's appreciate the fact that the New Orleans Pelicans have achieved their best start in franchise history, while looking like Western Conference contenders. Zion Williamson has been a standout player and an MVP contender all season, and this success wouldn't have been possible without the contributions of the Pelicans bench. Their head coach deserves a ton of credit as well. And if the Pelicans keep up this level of play, he could very well be in contention for the Coach of the Year award. Overall, the Pelicans are definitely contending in the playoffs this year, with Zion leading the way and Ingram returning to full health. This team has the potential to be one of the most intimidating forces in the league.